What's up with it, y'all? Polo Sports Talking ENT. Back again with another one. Hit that like, hit that sub. Also, hit the notification bell so that you can go ahead and get my videos and the stream as well when I go live. Um, I'll go ahead and I'll wait for y'all to get in here. And so we live, once again, because some questions do got to be answered. We do got to nip this in the bud. Hope everybody feeling all right. Uh, hold on 1 second, y'all. Hold on 1 minute. Okay, look, I'm going to go ahead and dive right into this thing. Hopefully, some people come in, but we got to ask ourselves the questions. Okay, uh, Paul George, he played sensational yesterday. Uh, with 37 points and 16 rebounds, along with 5 assists. Okay, and that's the second game in a row where Paul George has came up big. The previous game before that, he had 31 and 9, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, and it was a collective effort, uh, a collective effort between guys like Patrick Beverly, Kennard, of course, Marcus Morris, and Reggie Jackson, who just was lighting it up, and Terrence Mann. And I also got to throw Nicholas Batum in there for the excellent job that he did. But nevertheless, it was Paul George. He was the one that made his presence felt. He was the one that was leading the charge, pretty much. Uh, Paul George, man, in the beginning of his career, like I said, he reminds me so much of Tracy McGrady or T Mac as they call him. Just his whole drip and his whole the swag, the way he carries himself. It's like T Mac, and of course that was one of his favorite players besides Kobe. You watch Kobe and T Mac. Uh, but the reason why I say that though is because it's for two reasons. Can PG13 keep up his play throughout the whole entire playoffs? Because let's just call it what it is. He is gonna have some bad games. let's not get ahead of Paul George is not able. I mean, he's able to play every game is going to be 37 points. Okay, and it could be. Maybe it could, and maybe it couldn't. But we have to ask ourselves: can he continue to up this level of play? Because if he does, not only will he receive, in my opinion, one of the highest honors, which is to be an MVP in the finals. Not only will he receive that, also, Paul George will be able to as one of the great players to do it on that type. It wasn't all Paul George because uh, like I said, it was a collective effort. But you'd be silly to think that Paul George did not lead this charge. You know, uh, I see Paul George really taking that leap as the playoffs progress. They got the lead now. Now I'm not going to say it's a comfortable lead because the Jazz. I think that the Jazz are going to come back. They're going to come back fighting. They tried to come back, you know, yesterday, but it didn't quite work like that. It wasn't going to work like that. Not with the way that Paul George was playing, not with the way that some of the starters were playing, and not with the way that some of the other role players were playing. I felt that yesterday it showed me a lot about Paul George. It took me back to the time when he was playing in Indiana, and I mean just a all around great performance. And see what stands out to me is his other stats, which was 16 rebounds. That shows that he's willing to fight and really do other things other than just scoring. Because if a lot of these players had the mentality of a Paul George or of other uh, of a Kawhi to play both ends of the floor, you'd be seeing trust me, a more competitive league. He's able to. What's impressed me too is defense too. He's really stepped it up to be because a lot of people don't understand that when before the leg injury had taken place, Paul George was known as a defender. He was known as one of the best defenders in the league, two-way players in the league. So this Um, they're without Kawhi, the obvious. Has never. So he pretty much he's having to be the teacher and also lead by example at the same token. I don't feel that Paul George is going to slow down. I really don't. I don't think that he's going to slow down. Matter of fact, I think he's going to get even better. I think he's going to get even better. I think that the leg injury, coupled with the fact that there were some off the court issues that were going on, I think that with those things, being kind of out of his life, he was another thing that people tend to bring up is the fact that can he play by himself? Does he play by himself better? And he's proved that. He's proved that. He's proved that. Reggie Jackson, he played phenomenal. Three balls, you know. Also had to look at the fact that Beverly and those boys, they were really out there, and Paul George, his leadership yesterday, that's taking him even up to a higher level. I like what I saw. I really did. And now that leaves the question: Are do you see a lot of hero ball that's taking place now? Guys that are having to come to the rescue. Like the NBA says right now, it's survival. It's survival mode right now. Whoever wins it wins it. They're just going to be that last man standing because of the injuries that has taken place to everybody. Injuries are a part of the game. There's no excuse. It's that next man up. Like Red Pill says, it's the next man up. It's going to be the next man up. There's no crying about it, no complaining about it, any of that. Somebody brought this up earlier. Do you think that it's going and after that is no. Kawhi's not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, he's going to stay, and I think he's going to be a Clipper for life. That's just my personal opinion. I think he's going to be I think he's going to be a Clipper for life. They're in the best position right Paul George can actually do the unthinkable. He probably do the unthinkable right now if he keep playing the way that he's playing, coupled with the role players playing at the way that they play. I was impressed by the role players. They really impressed me a lot. Was I surprised? No, but I was impressed that they showed up. Uh, you know, those are some phenomenal role players. You got to take your hats off to them. They're tough. They work hard. They do whatever They do whatever is necessary. They do whatever is necessary to get the dub, pretty much. They're not there. They're not just there just to take a space or anything like that. No, these guys want to win. The Clippers they want to get to a finals for the first time. They want to get to a finals. Is it like can Paul George get over that hump? And even okay, if they lose, okay, I wouldn't even be mad at Paul George because the fact that he tried, the fact that he was trying to will his team to victory, despite being uh, shorthanded, that solidifies it, and that does it for me. I won't even say anything about him if he that much anymore about this playoff P and stuff like that. I think he's constantly hearing that. You get to a point in time when people start saying stuff about you. You want to prove them people wrong. Hell, he's been proving me wrong. He would really be proving me wrong. And he plays team ball. Is he like coming down the court making no look passes and none of that? No, he's not doing none of that. But the fact that he's still just getting his teammates involved, that actually says something. That actually says something. You know. Yeah, if y'all feel differently, let me know what you think. I'll send a link so y'all can chime in and tell me what you think. Other than that, I'm just gonna go ahead and shut this down. But do I think that he can perform in the playoffs? Absolutely. Have I lost complete faith in him? No, because I understand stuff goes on during the time. The only thing I wanted him to do was at least, establish yourself, make it obvious that you want to get better. You got to make it obvious that you want to get better. No team, or nobody's gonna take you seriously unless you do that, and that's why he was getting his money or trying to get his money over the summer because they saw something that maybe we didn't. I'm glad he's playing at an elite level. I'm glad he is. I'm glad that he is playing at an elite level, man, right now. And he got to keep it up. He got to keep it up. If you know, Paul George is another guy. Like if you know, I have, you know, my son, or if they, you know, they see Paul George and they see the type of player that he is, I would recommend his game because there's nothing wrong with his game. Not absolutely nothing wrong with his game. He's got one of the most, in my opinion, one of the most prototypical games in the NBA. Of course, the one the prototypical one that I like is um, Kevin Durant. It's Kevin Durant. That's easy right there. That's a no-brainer. And I think that the injury that he had, it took a lot out of him. Like you don't know that that's a psychological battle too. That's a psychological battle, and he seemed to have gotten over that. And understandable, I can understand why he felt the way he felt. Can understand that. That was a hard injury, man. That was one of the most. That was one of the most jaw-dropping injuries I've ever seen in my life. But he's back now. He's back. He's back. Back to square one. Going back to the basics. Going straight back to the basics. You know, sometimes you got to do that. When you're an older player, you got to go back to the basics. You got to go back. You got to take that thing back to the genesis. You got to take it back to the genesis, man, where it all began. You know, I wanted to see Paul George make multiple, be a perennial All Star. Um, because when he was at, a lot of people don't know this, man. When he was in Indiana, it was Danny Granger was still on the team, and he quickly came in and showed that he was better. He was better than Danny Granger. Just immediately, you know, I started to wonder. I was like, man, who is this guy, man? Like, you know, he coming down, and I just remember, you know, he would do some great in-game dunks, but also he could shoot too, and you know, he could play defense. He was a complete package, and people have gotten away from thinking that about Paul George. I I ain't gonna lie, I did for a while. Like man, I was like, man, I don't know about this guy anymore. I don't know about this guy anymore. Can he keep up? Can he continue to bring that pain every single night from this day forward? Can he do that? You know, we got to ask ourselves, can he? I think that he can. I think that Paul George, with being so great and so talented as he is, also with those role players, man, they have good a chance as any to actually win the championship. They really do. They have any man just as good a chance as any to go ahead and win that championship. And when he wins that championship, all that stuff that he did, that was on his resume, that seemed kind of suspect, and people were questioning and stuff. They they gonna forget about that because why? Because people like winners. People like winners. And he's resilient for coming back the way he did from that injury. He's resilient, especially getting to the finals and making his imprint. Then on top of that, he had to go through last year losing a three to one lead. Been through a lot, and to some people, it might be a short lived career. I don't see it that way. It's just like with Kawhi. Some people feel like if he retired, he wouldn't have done enough. Man, Kawhi has done more than enough. He's done more than enough. He's got two Finals MVPs, two Defensive Player of the Year awards, and two rings. And he got two rings with two different franchises. Trying to make it a third one. That'll be three different franchises, sort of like LeBron. He brought a title to three different franchises. That's who he'll be in the company with. Then we have to start wondering, okay, who was better in this generation? But that's a whole nother topic. But Paul George, he's showing that he can pick up where he left off. As far as Kawhi is concerned, you know. So y'all tell me what you think, man. Do you think PG can just keep up this good work? Leave your comments. I get right back at y'all.